Kia ora koutou everyone, nau mai haere mai and welcome to our launch of Vote Climate. So that we're really excited to be part of this growing group of organisations that's really keen to take climate action and is also promote the upcoming elections, local body elections in October, and what we can do around those. So I think for us, Vote Climate is about encouraging politicians to make the decisions that need to be made. We've got a growing coalition of groups who are covering workers, who are covering public transport, walking, cycling, as well as climate action groups. And we're all coming together to really encourage candidates in the local body elections to sign up to a set of straightforward but far-reaching commitments. So these are, and there's 4 of them, because, you know, it's nice and easy to remember 4 things. Broader and more frequent public transport services. We want to see services that are cheaper or even free. And alongside buses and trains, we're also wanting to see that it's easier and safer to walk and cycle in our cities and between our cities. And we're also looking for our politicians to make some decisions about how we can all do this better between the cities. So more interregional and ways of traveling between our cities, rather than using simply the car or the plane. But I think the question for us has also been why public transport and why local body elections? So to illustrate this, I'd just like to drop some numbers on you. 39. So 39 is the percentage of domestic emissions currently from transport. And 70 is the percentage of light vehicle emissions that make up the overall transport emissions for this country. And 20, the percentage of reduction in kilometres travelled by 2035 that has been set by the government and its emissions reduction plan. Now, what we're seeing when the emissions reduction plan was announced was a lot of people saying, well, is that really bold enough? Are we really going to make the changes that we need to make? And there's been a lot of discussion around that. And at Vote Climate, we're about saying we need some bold and urgent action to meet these targets. And local government, as well as national government, has a huge role in how our cities and our regions respond to meet these targets. And before I go on and introduce our speakers for today, I just want to drop just a couple more numbers on you. 42. So 42 is the average percentage voter turnout in local body elections, which compared to our national elections is pretty dismal. And of that, the number of 18 to 24-year-olds, that's less than half as likely to vote as people 65 and over. And obviously, that's going to skew the outcomes as well. But anyway, I'll just leave those numbers with you because I know our great speakers today are going to be talking about those as well. And I'll introduce them right now. So we're very lucky to have a number of our speakers from our various partner organisations, and they're going to be talking about what these commitments would mean for them and for us in our streets, towns, cities and country. So first up, we'll have Benedict Ferguson, who's our president from the Public Service Association. Then Louisa Jones will be joining us from a mysterious venue in Tamaki Makaurau, namely her lounge. She's the Assistant Secretary for First Union, and she's going to be talking about buses. And then on to Patrick Morgan from Cycle Action Network. He was going to be out in Oriental Parade, but technical difficulties meant that we weren't quite able to get there. However, Victor Bilo from Save Our Trains will be braving the freezing cold in Dunedin to make comment from about the trains and lack of investment in that infrastructure from the Dunedin railway station. Good luck, Victor. I hope we get to you before you don't succumb to hypothermia. And then finally, we've got Dania Harath from Climate Club, who'll be talking about how we can build this campaign to get the change that we want. So Benedict, welcome, and I will leave it over to you.
Thanks, Brendan, and kia ora koutou. Good to see everyone online or hear everyone or see the chat coming through. So as Brendan mentioned, I'm the president of the PSA, Te Pukenga Here Tikanga Mahi. And I'm pretty proud to be here as we launch this election campaign. I've spent my whole working life, probably apart from 6 months, being employed in local government. I'm a passionate, staunch public servant and really enjoy the work that local government does. I think the time has come for the sector to really deliver on climate action. Enough talk, more action. The effects of climate change do impact all workers, and that's why we're seeing around the world unions taking an active role in this. It is a worker issue, and collectively we're calling for more action, including our union, the PSA. In 2021, we signed up to some climate action goals within our strategic plan to really advance the action that we can collectively take and put pressure on employers to do the same. As Brendan mentioned in his little introduction for us, I just want to go a bit further into those. So, broader and more frequent public transport services. We know the evidence is really clear that if there is more reliable, more frequent public transport, citizens shift their mode and move away from cars. It's quite clear that that will happen. As soon as you get that broader, more frequent and reliable public transport working, the shift happens. When services are cheaper and even free, clear example over the last couple of months, public transport has been half price. And I've seen a huge increase in the numbers and the stats that people are using. That evidence again, it's clear that this will drive a step change. And alongside buses and trains make it easier for people to cycle and walk. Massive boom in the last few years around people getting on their bikes and cycling around Aotearoa and walking as well. And let's make it safe for them to do it. I'm a cyclist and it's getting safer, but it's still not that safe to ride a bike around some of our cities and even on some of those open roads. Not sure I'd want to do that on an open road. And that's where our last one is around how do we do that better for between cities and regions as well. And that goes to those stats that Brendan dropped in. I'm just going to read them again because I thought they're quite pretty dramatic. So 39% of domestic emissions from transport, 70% the percentage of light vehicle emissions, and 20% the percentage reduction in kilometres travelled by 2035 to meet these targets. So collectively, this is going to help achieve those. The last little stat I want to bring up that there 42% of voters turn out for local body elections, yet local body politics or government is probably the one that you're most directly impacted from as citizens of New Zealand. So get out and vote. I'm really excited about what this campaign will do to the working lives of all of us in Aotearoa. So get out there, talk to your community organisations, your workplaces, and of course your unions. Don't forget to vote. The voting packs do come in the mail, so do check your letterbox. And collectively, we can be that change. And I do like that, vote climate, keep it cool. Come on, just get that message out there. Vote climate, keep it cool. And let's put the pressure on our politicians to do the work that most communities are wanting them to do right now. Lastly, that last one, 18 to 24-year-olds, less than half are likely to vote. I'm going to do a bit of work on that. How do we get our young people to really be vocal? And I think they are pretty vocal at the moment. So yeah, let's get out and vote. Look forward to working on this campaign alongside you all and getting this message out. Thanks, Brendan.
Kia ora, Benedict. That was great. Thank you so much. Louisa, can you join us from your mysterious location?
Morena, everyone. Ko Louisa Jones Taku Ingoa. I'm the Assistant General Secretary at First Union, and I'm here in the not so mysterious, but still quite lovely Tamaki Makaurau. First Union is the union for bus drivers, and buses are just so important for our climate and for our cities. And so I just wanted to come here today and talk about that. We already have tens of thousands of people delivered safely to their locations of work or social locations or schools through our bus system. And our bus system, we all know it can improve. Here in Tamaki Makaurau, the climate goal is that we need to triple the amount of passengers on our buses. And we can only do that if we do exactly like Benedict said, is improve our services so that we can encourage that mode shift, have free fares so that we can encourage that mode shift. But also, we need to pay our bus drivers enough money. At the moment, we've got an absolute shortage of bus drivers in all of our major centres, and it's really tragic. And the reason why is because the jobs just don't pay enough money. So we need to, any politician who wants to help the climate needs to focus in on public transport, it's true, and part of that is focusing in on bus drivers' terms and conditions of employment. So thank you for the time to speak today, and vote climate. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Louisa, from your not so mysterious location. I'd like to welcome Patrick Morgan now from Cycle Action Network to have a bit of a chat about what he is wanting to see from this campaign. Patrick.
Kia ora koutou. Joining you from Wellington here. So 1 in 3 New Zealanders rides bikes. People in New Zealand love riding bikes, but they don't want to mix with busy traffic. And that's why bike lanes are climate action. People want to get around without emitting carbon. Unfortunately, over the last few decades, the government and councils have made decisions that's made that really hard. But we can reverse that. We know that 2/3 of urban trips are less than 6 kilometres, and 1/3 of urban trips are less than 2 kilometres. These are distances that can easily be walked or cycled by many people. So the call today is for councils to keep their promise, meet your climate commitments. The call is for the government, is you've promised to reduce driving by 20% by 2035. To do that, we need to offer people better alternatives. So that means investing in healthy, safe, attractive streets that are good for cycling, walking, scooting, whatever. New Zealanders love getting on their bikes. We've seen the popularity of bicycle tourism in our countrysides, like getting on a bike and getting around town much easier for those short urban trips that people like doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We lost you a little bit in the end there, but thank you, Patrick. And it's really great to have the cycle and walking groups on board as well. Next, before he comes to hypothermia, I'd like to invite Victor on. Victor's from Save Our Trains and also involved with Rail Maritime Union. So, Victor, how's it down in Dunners?
Well, don't be fooled by the sunshine. I hope you can hear me above all the background noise, but don't be fooled by the sunshine because it's actually extremely polar at the moment, and I think I'll make it through for a couple of minutes before beating a retreat. But just to say, I'm at the Dunedin Railway Station here, built in 1906. Now, I used to be able to catch trains from here, intercity trains, to Christchurch or Invercargill. If you wanted to, you could get down there, and you can't do that anymore. And this is part really of the problem we've had in New Zealand with the running down of our passenger rail services. And at Save Our Trains, we're really focused at the moment on intercity and regional passenger trains and getting those back in action, because they're going to be a key way that we can reduce emissions. Getting people off planes and into trains is one of our slogans. So I guess we've had one success lately in this process of trying to rebuild intercity rail, which has been run down for the last generation, intercity passenger rail. And that was, we were running a petition, which we still are, but we've managed to get back the Auckland to Wellington passenger service, which they were trying to turn into a tourist-only option, and we wanted that to be there to just ordinary travellers as well. That's very important. So and also the Picton to Christchurch. So they're back in action now due to the pressure we've been putting on the government and KiwiRail. But we've got lots of other issues. We want to support the Te Huia service. We want to get the capital connection going, Wellington to Palmerston North, because that's been really run down and let down over years. It needs funding. It needs determination. And this campaign we're doing to vote climate here with all the different groups in it, Save Our Trains is very happy to be part of it, and we think that with that combined resources and combined work that we'll do, we'll really see a difference in practical ways of getting emissions down through using better forms of transport, which will include intercity passenger rail. So I hope that covers the field. My nose is about to fall off. I hope you could hear me over all the sheep trucks. And that's it from Dunedin, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victor. Go and get yourself warm, mate, and go and defrost. So,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Finally, I'd like to welcome Dania Harath from the Climate Club to come on and just have a bit of a chat about what her organisation does and also what we can do after this launch. So, Dania, welcome.
Kia ora, everyone. It's really lovely to be here. I'm from Climate Club. We're a weekly newsletter that rounds up news from climate campaigns across Aotearoa and across the world. And we connect them to busy individuals who want to drive top-down policy actions but might not have the time to be doing that on the daily. We are supporting Vote Climate because voting for urgent climate policy is a critical step in the path to a healthy climate. And one of the most effective ways to get the scale of climate action that we need to see is voting in these local elections. So the first step that we're working towards is to get everyone enrolled. You heard the stats about how many people vote in these local elections. And so first and foremost, we want to encourage everyone to sign up to vote in their local elections. These rolls close on the 12th of August, so we don't have long to get everyone involved. You'll have to stay tuned as we send out more information on how to enroll yourself, your friends, your whānau, and make sure that everyone gets a ballot, a voting card in the mail. I'll send it through the website for keeping updated there. After we've gotten everyone enrolled, the second step will be going through and surveying all the candidates. We'll survey all mayoral and local council candidates to see if they support our kaupapa and give them a few words to explain why or why not. Then we'll highlight these survey results to you so you can make your choice about who to vote for. You can find out more about the campaign and stay up to date in the website and linked in the Zoom below. And you can also sign up to the Climate Club newsletter. We're going to share all of the events that are going forward from the Vote Climate campaign. And we'll be covering this campaign quite closely leading up to the October local elections because our democracy is definitely one of the biggest ways we can work towards climate actions. So I'll send through the links for that as well below. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. So, folks, that sort of leads us to the end of the launch. I just want to say thank you so much to Benedict, Louisa, Patrick, Victor, and Dania for coming on. A couple of things you can do immediately. You can go to www.voteclimate.org.nz, and as an individual, you can sign up to get on our campaign newsletter. That newsletter will be highlighting when candidates come on board with our 4 asks, or when there's events from any of the, at this point in time, 25 different groups. And I'll just highlight a couple of the groups that aren't here today that we're really excited to have on board. We've got NZUSA, fantastic to have such a big student body on there. Gen Zero, 350.org. We've also got the NZCTU is coming on board, Greater Auckland. It's just been an absolute groundswell over the last couple of weeks, and it's been really exciting to be part of that. If you want to find out who else is involved with the campaign, then please www.voteclimate.org.nz/about, and you'll find it all there. And we've got Facebook page, Vote Climate NZ, and we've got a Twitter, vote_climate NZ, and we're also going to be having a TikTok very soon as well. So there's heaps to share, and we're really keen to have as many people being sharing that stuff out there. But our key activity, the next big ask, will be, how do we get people enrolled to vote? So next week, we'll be launching the whole suite on how to get enrolled, how to talk to your friends and family about it, and how to get whānau engaged around enrolling to vote. 12th of August, is when enrollment finishes. 12th of August is when the candidates are have to get all their paperwork in. They're all announced on the 17th of August. So really from now until voting papers come out mid-September, and then October the 8th is when it's all done and dusted. So we don't have a lot of time, but I'm confident with the huge numbers of people and the large groups that we've already got going, we're going to make this a real election issue. So this is fantastic. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's vote climate and keep it cool. Cheers. Ka kite.